Okay, the beginning. Well, as we're going through, just wanted to show you one of the maps that I made for MinecraftEDU. I would say that this map took me about 45 minutes to an hour to make, and I started off with a flat grass map to begin with. And this map was designed to create a space for an entire class, set of students to um, be able to build anything. Technically speaking, this was made as a template. Specifically, what our students were doing were they were working on a symbol project where they were to pick a symbol prior to entering the computer lab, and then they're going to build their symbol. And if you can see kind of over here, I've got an area for each of the students to basically put their name on their paper like normal. Okay, you put the name on their sign, and then they beneath there is an information block, which with the new update has been drastically improved. You can type multiple pages on here. I have yet to test to see the limits of it, but as you can see to the right there, there's an arrow, and that will turn the page. Prior to this was all that you could write, was whatever you could fit on this page. So in this case, my symbol is a warhawk. The warhawk symbolizes, and this is kind of what we expect the students to do. And obviously the more fun part is getting to build the symbol, obviously. But as they're building the symbol, I made it very easy for them to be able to go back to their actual home base, which is what this basically is. Here is our home base, and the home base is a place for them to fill in their assignments. Obviously, you could still have issues here with students filling in other students' assignments. I would say that it's most likely that students won't do that, but treat it the same as you would if you were to hand out pieces of paper, and no cheating. So, classroom management, you can do it with Minecraft. It's part of setting the rules from the beginning. And as you can tell, this is where this is where the students would spawn. And here I set up 30 areas because depending on who would be using this, we only have 26 computers in our computer lab. But if you have 30 students, I'm about to go in as a student just to show you how to make sure some of you that haven't used the game as much would know how it would act as a student. So right now I'm in as a student. And so as you can see, all of the stations will pop up. The way that you do that as a teacher is you need to set up there's a little eye next to each of the stations when you're setting them up as a teacher, and I can show you that when we get back into it. There's another spot. For those of you that haven't used it, so this is a student once again. I made it so the only station that they could see using the eye tool is home. It would be a nice feature to let the students rename the stations, maybe still let the teacher decide when and where that's a possibility, but maybe that could be another eye type feature. As I'm just showing you here, for those of you that haven't played, how the students can't get out of the barrier blocks, and occasionally it'll glitch, but if it glitches, that means that the student was obviously trying for way too long. It means that the kids was basically just sitting there trying to get out. They weren't doing their work, so you can discipline them based on that. But for the most part, I think I've only seen the kids get out of it. This is the only issue that I have with the barrier blocks right now, is that students can still build on the other side of them. A quick fix to this would be, if you're building this map, put 5 or 6 blocks in between the stations. The reason why I kept them so close together was for the teacher's sake. Sometimes when you're flying around as a teacher, even though they did enhance the teacher's speed, it still makes it a little bit tougher for the teacher to spectate if they're not able to move quickly. So I'm gonna go back in. This is pretty easy. I do this all the time while I'm building the maps. I go in and out as a student, as a teacher, to make sure everything's working good. Biggest mistake you can make is to only create it in teacher mode and never check and see how it works with the students. You'll catch a bunch of surprises. So we'll go back to the home base here, and once again we're back to that teleport block, the main home teleport block, which will take this. Each student just right clicks on it and they choose their computer number. If you're using this in a computer lab, that's about as easy as I think you can get. When I first bought this game, I ended up having to build tunnels from our home base to the actual area themselves, which took a long time. Plus, it also made the kids have to run to their areas. It takes wasted time for class periods. Doesn't need it to happen. So You know, the reason why I ended up choosing to use the disallow blocks, just to not even tempt the students to break up the home area. Here I just showed you that movement speed. That's how I like to have my movement speed up real high. You know, if you have trouble with controls, maybe you wouldn't like it up so high, but I like it being very fast so that I can move from one end to the other and see everything. Just kind of like in your regular classroom, if you'd like to see all of your students, you need to need to have that accessibility in the game too. I'm not exactly sure why I got rid of the grass. The grass like changes colors depending on where you're at on the map, so I just made it all one. Also, for the students that were using this map at first, most of them had never played the game, so I kind of wanted to give it a little bit more of a controlled feel, so they didn't go crazy when they got in here. And I will say that after teaching that class, it went spectacularly. I will say there was very few issues with this at all. I have students that are kind of my right-hand men that always try to figure out all the glitches for me and see if there's any problems right from the get-go. And the only thing that I had ended up changing was, if you can tell, the homework wall is about 5 or 6 blocks thick, and that was because the students, whenever they would right-click on the information blocks, when they were done, for some of them it was glitching out and it would send them on the opposite side, which would basically not allow them in. Those of you that use this game know that when the students are in the game, they can hit their M key, and if you turn on teleporting to spawn just like this, they can teleport back to the spawn area themselves. That kind of helps you from having to teleport students. I just, right here at the end, I threw in the build mode for anyone to see kind of how it works. I love this feature because when kids are showing you stuff, the worst part is trying to find find their door and have to walk through the door. It's better to just fly through walls. So, all right, well, that's the video. That's what I've got here, so thank you.